Alright, ladies and gents, I think most of you know by now I'm no fan of Richard Tice. I never have been. Even when I was flying the flag for reform, I never liked him. There's just something about the fella that's false, duplicitous, and out of touch. There really is. You may not agree with me on that, but there we go. That's just my observations, and that's what this video is about. I'm diving into the swamp of political cowardice, and our guide is none other than Richard Tice, Deputy Leader of Reform, who's just given us a masterclass in how to dodge the biggest issue facing Britain with all the grace of a drunk on a unicycle. The topic, demographic change. His reaction, well, I won't be here. I won't be here. Brilliant, Richard. Absolutely inspiring. Why don't you just tattoo I surrender on your forehead and be done with it? Now here's the deal. Projections say that by 2036, barely a decade from now, Britons, the native population of this country, if you will, could be a minority in our own homeland. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's data. That's the future staring us in the face. And when some brave soul dares to ask Mr. Tice, the self-proclaimed champion of British values, that's a joke, what he thinks about this seismic shift, what does he say? Does he stand up, puff out his chest and declare, we must protect our culture, our heritage, our way of life? No. He shrugs, smirks and says, well, I won't be here. Oh well, that's all right then, Richard. As long as you're comfortably retired or pushing up daisies, who cares if the country's unrecognisable? What a cop-out, what a spineless, gutless, pass-the-buck moment from someone who's supposed to be leading the charge. Now let's be clear. Demographic change isn't just numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about culture, identity, and the soul of a nation. Britain's history, its traditions, its values, love them or hate them, were built by the people who've been here for centuries. And when you've got mass immigration at levels nobody voted for, as Tice himself has admitted in the past, it's not just changing the scenery, it's rewriting the script of who we are. Schools, hospitals, housing, crime, cohesion, everything's strained to breaking point. And what's Tice's big plan? I'll be long gone. Dick, that's not a policy, that's a white flag. You know, I used to think reform was different. I really did. I thought they were the ones who'd finally say what needs saying without the, mealy-mouthed nonsense you get from the Tories or Labour. Tice has banged on about mass immigration before, calling it a disaster that's making us poorer and eroding our culture. That's what he said. He's not wrong there, though, but when push comes to shove, when the questions land like a brick through a window, what do you do about it? Well, he suddenly got an urgent appointment with his undertaker. I won't be here. Really? Is that your legacy? Is it kicking the can down the road so your grandkids can deal with the mess? Churchill would have eaten you for breakfast and spat out your weak, brittle bones. And let's not kid ourselves, this isn't just about Tice, it's about a whole political class that's terrified of touching this issue with a barge pole. They'll lecture you about diversity and inclusion until your ears bleed, but ask them about the long-term impact of uncontrolled immigration and they start staring at their shoes or muttering about global trends. Tice could have said, this is serious, we need to talk about integration, borders and what kind of Britain we're leaving behind. Instead, he's checked out. I'll be long gone. Well, good for you, mate, but some of us actually care about the future. And here's the thing. Tice's party is supposed to be the antidote to the establishment waffle. Reform UK has been riding high in the polls, banging on about British values, Brexit, and taking back control. But when you shrug off the biggest cultural shift in a millennium, like it's someone else's problem, you're not taking back control, you're handing it over. You're saying, do what you want with Britain, I'll be sipping gin in the afterlife. And this is the guy who's got the nerve to call Keir Starmer anxious. Pot, meat, kettle. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying immigration is inherently bad. People come, people go, that's life. But when it's a tidal wave, when it's unplanned, when it's changing the fabric of your country faster than anyone can keep up, and when nobody even asked for it, you don't just shrug and say, oh well, I'll be dead. That's not leadership, that's abandonment. And if Reform UK thinks they can skate by on this, they're no better than the suits in Westminster they claim to despise. So Richard, here's a tip. If you're going to talk the talk about British values, about culture, about sovereignty, then walk the walk. Don't just wave at the problem from your ivory tower and say, not my circus, not my monkeys. Because it is your circus, and those monkeys are running the show. So step up or step aside. Britain deserves better than a shrug. And if you think I'm being too harsh, then good. Maybe it'll wake someone up. And there we go. I'm past 49. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, folks, keep your eyes open and your wits about you, because apparently our leaders are already halfway out the door. I'll see you at the next one. Roger Trout.